Officials with the San Antonio School District say that the two football players accused of ramming into a referee during a high school game allege the ref directed racial slurs at them. The district has suspended an assistant football coach who players say told them the ref needs to pay for calls they thought were unfair. The school district said it is treating the incident as an assault on a school official and an offense that could lead to expulsion. Stephen A., with this new information, does it change your opinion on this incident?
Not even a little bit. Doesn't change my position at all. I stated yesterday that Mr. Victor Rojas, a sophomore, and Mike Moreno, a senior, should have both been arrested on the spot, as far as I'm concerned, and put in jail at least for a day or so just to send the right message. Banned from playing football. And as I sit here this morning, I haven't changed my position one bit. You want to arrest the assistant coach who allegedly told them that the referee needs to be dealt with simply because of unfavorable calls in their mind? Fine. Deal with him as well. Do what you can to find out what transpired. But as far as I'm concerned, that video shows what those two kids did. And as far as I'm concerned, that's assault. That's the way I look at it. Even in the games, even in the throes of action, you're supposed to avoid hitting the official. We know that accidents happen. That was clearly intentional. There was intent there. There was malice there. And as far as I'm concerned, those kids needed to be arrested on the spot. Now, I do understand, and I've heard the reports, Skip Bayless, that racial epithets or whatever it is, they were claiming that the referee spewed towards them. I don't know. I wasn't there. Neither were you. Let me say this for the record to a whole bunch of kids out there from the minority communities. So what? You report them to the coach. You stop. You walk off the field if you have to. You tell your coach what's going on. You tell officials what's going on. To sit there and take it upon yourself to exact such violence against this referee, blindsiding him by being blindsided by one guy, being speared while on the ground by another, while you're wearing equipment and helmets and all of that stuff, and this official, an older male, doesn't have any equipment like that on, shouldn't have been doing it even if he did. But that makes it even worse. The fact is that it doesn't change my position one bit. You can't in any way condone, you can't even give the impression that you're condoning what transpired. It was inexcusable, it was egregious, it was criminal. And as far as I'm concerned, there are more bodies that should potentially fall if indeed they were encouraged to do so by their coaches. But it doesn't absolve them from what they did. To send the right message, you have to make sure that you provide a disincentive and you flagrantly discourage youth out there from engaging in the same kind of behavior. You do so by putting those young brothers in handcuffs and taking them off that field and right down to the local jail. That's what you should have done.
Okay, I agree with you to this point. Absolutely nothing justifies what those two did to retaliate against that referee, because it's nothing but cowardly assault, as you just so eloquently stated. Now, let's put it in some context. Remember yesterday, before the show, in the pre-show meeting, you and I discussed, should we talk about this subject yesterday? And I asked you, could we just wait to hear what the two kids have to say for themselves, and was anybody else involved? And I asked you in the meeting, and you said no, let's go ahead and do it. And I said, I just want to hear their side of the story, because I figured something had to have transpired. Whatever it was, I don't know. You're right. I wasn't there. This could degenerate into your basic he said that he said. But was there a coach involved in encouraging them to retaliate for a call they thought robbed them of the football game? Obviously, there's some indication that could have happened. So now they've suspended a young coach, 29-year-old coach who went to that high school, played at that high school. And again, I worked in Texas for a long time. Went to a lot of high school games. It's different there. You didn't cover a lot of that kind of high school football that I did. It goes over the edge.
I covered a lot of it. I just covered it in North Carolina and New York, not Texas.
Got it. There's something different about Texas, where it tends to go over the edge into irrationality. The emotions just spill over out of control. It goes psycho. These kids are sort of, they're playing harder, giving more of themselves, body and soul, than college and pro players often do. So, again, could they be victims of their environment? A little bit. I'm not justifying, I'm just trying to keep this in some big perspective here. And I have no idea what word was used by that referee, if any word, to those two kids that could provoke them. But we know there's certain words. There's one in particular that as I've told you, I wish it could be somehow abolished from the English language, that N-word ending with the hard ER. I have no idea what transpired here, what word was used, but I'm just saying there are certain flashpoints that can push kids over the edge. I'm not justifying what they did, but I'm just trying to keep it in some perspective for you. But in the end, I'm with you. Nothing justifies what they ended up doing, but maybe there could be a lot of factors that contributed to what they were doing.
Well, perspective for me, let me give you my perspective so we understand one another. I'm thinking about the kids. I'm not trying to ruin lives. I'm trying to save them. You understand? I'm trying to position guys to make sure they know how to position themselves to be successful in life, as opposed to being failures and just becoming a number and a product of the system. That's what I'm trying to do. And so as a result of that, you have a bigger cause. And that bigger cause must highlight how you simply cannot act, regardless of what extenuating circumstances may exist. You don't blindside and hit and physically harm an official in any sport on any level. To me, the reason why I insisted on talking about this yesterday is because I wanted to make the point that it doesn't matter what we find out. It doesn't negate the fact that those kids should have been arrested. Nobody's saying to throw them in jail and throw away the key and lock them up forever, but you do feel the need to highlight how egregious their act was and to also highlight the ramifications or the potential ramifications of their actions. And if you've got to add a coach or coaches to the mix later on to make sure they get their comeuppance, so be it. But there is no way in hell that with that video being what it is, that those kids should have gotten a walk off that field and head home. The first place they should have been taken to was jail. That's the first, I don't care if it was for a few hours. The first thing that should have happened to them is that they should have been arrested and put in jail. At the very least, to send a message. Skip, quick, one quick thing, Skip, Molly. In New York City, there's a subway system. Long before the Metro cards and all this stuff, you had to put these coins in.
Yep.
Skip Bayless, I was rushing, trying to get with some young girl when I was in high school, and I didn't have coins on me, and I jumped over the turnstile. Well, an officer caught me, grabbed me, cuffed me, took me to the back of the room, lectured me, scolded me, wrote me a little ticket, took my mother's number down, and then let me go. Skip Bayless, you know what I remember? The fact that I was cuffed. And guess what? It's not something that I ever did again. It's just that simple. You got to send that message.
All right.
Can't let this kind of stuff happen. And that was innocuous. These guys harmed somebody.
Yep.
Can't have it.
I am with you on
Can't.
that. Those helmets can be used as weapons. This happened once before in 2008, involved in a school called Euless High School, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in a playoff game. And I wish it had gained more widespread attention then, and we had been talking about it on First.
So we didn't have the issue now. No, I appreciate your story there, Stephen A. But I also want to point out, you guys, how about the example of leadership by them? The refs using the racial slurs, and then your coach directing you to do this. That's a whole another issue there as well. So police say their investigation will take a little over the week, and prosecutors are receptive to filing charges if that is what this investigation indicates. Coming up, we go to New England. More reports of Spygate surround the Patriots before their season opener tomorrow night. How does all this impact the legacy of one Bill Belichick? We'll discuss that after the break.